Hi everyone, this is Katie Nelson, previously Katie Hesting. For assignment 3, we're comparing calendars. I decided to compare Google Calendars with Outlook calendars. I use Google Calendars for my personal life, but my district uses Outlook, so we use Outlook Calendar for all things school related. So I thought it was appropriate to share the two. In visual comparison, the two have a very similar layout. Both have a side panel for managing calendars and groups. Easily has like a create new calendar up in the top left hand corner. It's got a search, it's got the date, you can view it by month or week. Really, both layouts are almost exactly the same. The only difference to me is in colors and fonts. But in my opinion, I like the Google Calendar. It's visual much more than the Outlook. For some reason, I just like the font, I like the layout, I like the colors. It just is more visually appealing to me. Within both calendars, you can create an event, which of course makes sense when you're dealing with a calendar. Would be a useless calendar if you couldn't create an event within that. The only difference between the two that I could really find, and I'm sure Outlook has this feature somewhere, but within Google it's much easier to find. In Google Calendars you can add a location to your event, whether it be a room number or a specific place in a town. Like for example, if I wanted to meet someone for coffee in Radina's, at Radina's in Manhattan, I could type in location, Radina's Coffee House, Manhattan, Kansas, and a Google image of Radina's would pop up within that event. So if I was sharing that event with the person I wanted to meet coffee with, if they weren't sure of where that was at, it would give them the exact address if needed. And again, I'm sure Outlook has a similar feature, but this just shows that Google can link to all of its other features, such as Google Maps, in their calendar as well. Responding to an event, both Google and Outlook have the ability to respond to an event. Both of those invites go to your email inbox. You can check the attendance of your guests for both of those. The only difference I found was that Outlook tells you right there in your email inbox if you have a conflict with another event in your calendar, which can be kind of handy. But for me, I don't use my Outlook calendar. I use Google, so the conflicts, it always tells me I don't have a conflict, which is kind of inconvenient. Both calendars have multiple calendars inside of the program. You can also, like, your children can have a calendar, you could have a calendar, you could have a work calendar, your husband could have a calendar, your mom could have a calendar, and you can sync them all into one calendar. The difference I found between the two of these is that Google Calendar lets you color code these and put them all in one calendar. For example, in my calendar, my color is purple. In my husband's calendar, his is green, so that when the calendars are meshed together, we can quickly see whose events are what just by color coding them. Outlook calendars allows you to do something similar, but they have you view the calendars side by side, or you can set it up so it's one calendar on top of the other. Creating a Google Calendar is incredibly simple. If you're signed into your Google account, you just open the Calendar app. On the left-hand side, it says click Add Calendar. If this is your first calendar, you would just click Add Calendar. If you're adding another calendar, like a work calendar, you could put Add New Calendar. You just give your calendar a name. If it's your first calendar, you could name it pretty much whatever you wanted to. If it's a multiple calendar, I would make those names specific as possible so you can keep the two of them separate. And then just click Create Calendar. If this is a shared calendar, you can click Share with specific people, and then you can type in whoever you're sharing that calendar with. Again, my personal preference is Google, hands down. I use Google Calendars in my personal life. It has saved us so much. Before we transitioned to Google Calendars, we had a calendar on the refrigerator, but that doesn't do you any good when you're at a doctor's appointment trying to make a new appointment if the calendar is on the fridge. So again, while they're both very, very similar, I just prefer the colorful layout of Google, and I just think it's more user-friendly in my opinion. Thanks for watching.